Route 66, the highway of dreams. Relaxation, abandonment, the mother road. Come and get your, wait, how's the saying go again? This highway was once the golden child for this fine nation, serving as the ultimate getaway for friends and family alike, starting and ending in two of the coolest states here in America. So why is everyone so fascinated with this ancient highway when you can fly coast to coast in a matter of hours? Easy. Abandoned? Well, let's rewind a bit, because no story is complete without picking your companion, or two, or three. When Jason and I finally put some dates down on the calendar to do this trip, the second thing that ran through my mind is which cameras was I going to bring? I knew I needed a triple threat. Earlier this year, I bought myself a Mamiya 7 as a birthday present to myself. So, naturally that's my number one. Then, I stole Jason's Contax T2. I knew I needed a solid point and shoot. Sorry, Olympus. You just don't cut it. But what about my third? I knew I needed a workhorse, a slim, sexy 35. My Minolta, well, just wasn't up for the challenge. So, I bought myself a Leica. But let me say, don't buy a new camera right before going on a trip, but more on that later. But now that I have the perfect trifecta of cameras, let's resume.
Ready to rock and roll!
So Jason just got in yesterday, and I am so pumped for this trip. You know, it's just like when two best friends go for a drive, like anything is possible. Anything can happen. I am so excited to take a bunch of photos, hang out with my BBF, and just, you know, just like explore the world together. It's gonna be magical. You ready to pump and rocket? I don't know what that means.
Pop, lock, and drop it.
Yeah.
At this first location, I decided to shoot my new love affair, the Leica M6. It's honestly really easy to put a roll through this thing. I decided to load up some Ektachrome 100. An hour outside of my hometown, we stopped at this abandoned school. This school was beautiful. I met a woman that went to that school in 3rd grade. I later found out she'd been stalking us. Since the school went abandoned, people had purchased it for $1, trashed the living hell out of it, and started a puppy mill. Needless to say, when Jason and I were taking photos of this place, we had no idea about any of this. For 3 seconds, I thought we could go in, but when I saw a ghost light inside and the door slammed shut, it was time to GTFO fast.
I think someone lives here.
This first stop would set the tone for the rest of the trip. Roughly every place we went next, we were being watched. So then we decided to go back in town and take a few more photos before hitting the road.
Abandoned house. Jason. Somewhere. Jason somewhere. Jason.
Money.
After spending way too much time in this first location and then getting pulled over by the police, which I can only assume was because we had too many cameras in the car, we found ourselves back on track and taking some more sexy photos.
feeling?
What do you think this was?
It's probably a gas station of some sort, or a repair shop.
Driving down Route 66 has been a dream of ours since we were baby photographers. We gave ourselves 8 days to drive across the country with cameras in our hands and a dream in our heart, and a ton of cherry coke in the backseat. Since we were starting in northern Kansas, we had to make our way south to meet up with the iconic highway. But what kind of photographers would we be if we didn't make a day out of driving the backcountry roads on our way to Oklahoma? I actually really love this stretch of road a lot because before moving to LA, I spent 10 years in Kansas and never saw any of these small towns before. I definitely have to say it. I fell in love with Kansas again. After a bit of driving, we stumbled upon a ramshackled house with a camper alongside it. Just this scene itself would justify us stopping in the middle of our tracks. But when we went exploring a bit more, we found the Cracker Jack prize at the bottom of the box. After exploring a bit, we found a broken down dairy truck behind it all. This thing was a pleasure to shoot. Such a lovely find. Oh yeah, and those light leaks, well, I guess it's as good as time as ever to explain. On the M6, there are these small side bumpers. They protect the body from getting scratched. But if they fall off, they also happen to let light into the camera body and onto your image. At a fast shutter speed, it's not much of an issue. But anything under 1/500th of a second, game over. Really, Leica? For being a Supremo camera, you let this happen? I guess no one's perfect. This is why I suggest not buying a camera right before you go on a trip. Since these cameras are used, they could have issues. Really? You need adequate time to test your camera.
Hey, do you think there's a dead body in there?
Yeah, there's definitely
If I can look in there and there's a skeleton, we're out of here, dude.
Okay.
All right. No bodies.
We are using Ektar right now, and Jason is rewinding his Leica.
Sometimes when going through a bunch of rolls really fast, you forget to change your camera's ISO dial. Then you get these dumpster fires. I wish I could say that this was the first and last time that this had happened, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it's windy, very windy. Bro, dead bodies.
Sometimes these small towns just start looking the same. Small houses kind of scattered around, one or two people driving through, maybe one lonely kid playing on his bike. But this next town had two major abandoned structures, and they were beautiful.
Yep.
An older man stopped by and gave us a brief history on the town. One of them used to be an old town hall that burnt down several years ago now, only now to be covered by Mother Earth. The next would be an abandoned school that is just now an old shell. It makes me wish I could have seen these buildings in their prime. And at this location, I kind of started noticing a theme. Putting black and white in the camera was a good solid choice all around.
You like belong here now.
It was getting later and we were actually not going to stop at any more spots. But then we saw it, right there on a corner, an abandoned bar. The door was wide open. It was sunset, so we couldn't not stop. To what we could figure out, is an abandoned police bar. And super dark inside. That's why you always carry a point and shoot with a flash on it. You never know when you're gonna be in a dark abandoned bar. as fate would have it, there was an abandoned theater in another small town right as the sun was setting. The town was very quaint, so I had to put in some Portra 800.
Small town living, small town living, small town living. There's the moon up there.
But after this small town, we were out of light. So we made our way to the Super 8 Motel in Oklahoma, ready to have a great night's sleep from an exhausting, amazing first day.
It's time for Jason to go to bed.
Change me.
There's no way this coffee machine is going to work for me.
Have you ever gone to the bathroom? I can't do it. I'm scared where that was going.
Hey Jason, are you just like pumped for today's activities? Like, it's gonna be our second day on the trip. I mean, I'm having a blast so far, and I'm just really excited for all the stuff we're gonna see today.
Yeah, whatever. Dude, this guy named Caleb actually just hit me up. He DM'd me. He actually seems kind of cool.
Another Caleb?
Yeah, he's a photographer as well. He does a lot of like film photography.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah, kind of impressive actually.
Oh. Huh. Well, we're gonna have fun though, right?
Huh?
I couldn't make coffee because there was no hot water in the room. So now I'm gonna die. Maybe.
Over dramatic.
No, it's not over dramatic, Jason. Okay?
Sorry, I didn't realize it was a struggle.
Yeah, life's a struggle.
I had to subject myself to Starbucks instant coffee.
Exciting. Who knows what the future holds?
Damn it. This morning's first official stop would be the Blue Whale of Catoosa. But before we even set eyes on that blubbering whale, we found ourselves pulling over at this lovely little auto garage on the side of the road. This location was perfect for the Mamiya 7 and some medium format. I decided to put some Ektar on the camera for some satty goodness. Taking pictures of these cars out back was probably my favorite part of this location. I love seeing the environment take over man-made objects, which I guess is kind of the theme of this entire trip.
Two amigas hanging out with their Mamiyas.
Our second stop on the way to the Whale would be this little town of Chelsea that was just right off Route 66. It had a few overgrown buildings and some dilapidated houses. I decided that Ektar and Portra 160 would be the best film of choice for this little place. I think that it really helped making the greens pop wonderfully. And I decided to continue shooting with my Mamiya 7. Today was shaping up to be a 6x7 type of day. Welcome to the whale. When we finally got to our first stop, I decided to pull out my M6 and put some Ektachrome through the camera. I thought this film would do well with the big blue whale. I really just wanted that E100 look.
Jason, I feel Kyle McDougal here.
I feel his essence.
I've been wanting to step foot in this weird random whale a long time now. This destination is legend. Mr. McDaddy himself has visited this bright blue baby himself. Naturally, we had to be as close as we could to his photo-taking spirit. I really wanted to make him proud. I need this validation.
Like Jonah. I bet no one's ever made that joke before. Look, there's Jason. Awesome place.
Yeah, I bet that other Caleb that I mentioned earlier, I bet he could shoot some real awesome photos here. Anything?
Watch the other Caleb do that. Also, randomly, my aunt visited like 4 days before. Weird timing. I think Kyle was here too. After my first mate and I nearly escaped being whale chum, we hopped into our dinghy and sailed away. One thing that was very apparent is that my first order from B&H was not enough to carry me through this trip. I was shooting 120 film faster than my Canon EOS 1N's top shutter speed, which is 1/8,000th of a second, in case you forgot. So while on the road, we looked up the closest photo supply store in Tulsa, Aperture Photo Supplies. And while we were there, I decided to finish up the Ektachrome in my M6.
Jason, do we need these?
No, Caleb. You wanna know why?
Because of that. We have issues.
Then we hit the town of Tulsa, Oklahoma for some coffee and food and take some random photos. I had stomach issues, so I wasn't in the mood at that moment. They're not my favorite.
For West exit, then merge onto I-244 West.
I hate Tulsa!
When setting up this trip, we had planned our 8 days strategically, booking hotels where we thought we wanted to stay, but leaving time for the open road to call our names to fresh, exciting spots, lusting for two lads to take their photos.
You okay, bro?
I need caffeine.
Here in the town of Depew, I decided to put both black and white and color through my camera. I think overall, I like the images from Tri-X better. On the way to our next stop, Pop 66, the one and only place to truly hate yourself while consuming the worst sugary drinks. We stumbled on a hidden gem. One of the great things about Route 66 is the history that these places have. Since it's the backbone of the modern world, towns and worlds were connected. But now, going from one slim town to the next, you'll find hidden abandoned wonders. This one house was no exception. It was right next to the road. No stay off my lawn signs. So we ventured in. This was one of those houses that had so much character. I wondered who lived here, why they left, and how long would the structure stay up? But the biggest bummer of them all is that we actually got kicked out. Someone yelled right from the street right as I was about to go in. I was so bummed that I couldn't go in. So naturally, I just had to live vicariously through Jason. After a brief stop at Pop's, we made our way to Oklahoma City. One of Jason's stalkers told us that we should hit up some light tunnels. At first, I thought we were going to get murdered, but Jason assured me that he would protect me against any nefarious characters. So I agreed. Let's go underground. Oh, that's funny. It's white balancing it.
Am I in your shot?
I think I might be in my shot. I decided to pop some LOMO 800 into my sexy M6 to capture the glowing tunnels of art. The higher ISO was a great choice in this situation. It was actually the only time I put LOMO 800 in the mix.
That's pretty quick. As we finished up Down Under, we were treated with a wonderful sunset. It was a nice way to leave Oklahoma City.
picked up my Leica, I had exactly the same amount of shots as I just finished. I started with 30, ended with 30.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, I think it is.
But we knew we couldn't stay to snap some sexy sun pics in Oklahoma City for too long. We were trying to make our way to Lucille's historic gas station with enough time to be able to take at least one decent photo.
Golden chick. How much do you want to bet that is a stripper? Oh, no. It's definitely just chicken nuggets.
It can be both.
Your destination is on the right.
At first we thought we might have been there with a little bit of sun in the sky. That was just not the case. It was a good thing that I still had some LOMO 800 in my M6. Having the Cybershot around didn't hurt either.
Okay, I'll do cherry Coke Zero. Medium frosty. Chocolate, please.
After making some very healthy choices at some fast food restaurants, we made our way into Texas and the second hotel of our trip.
Yeah, kinda got it.
We had some terrible pop sodas to chug down our gullets.
Cheers. Smells like rose water. Is that what? You want to get me wasted today? You're gonna take advantage of me. Stupid joke anyway.
Alright.
Nice
Cheers.
sparkling perfume.
You're not gonna like this one.
I feel.
Alright, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, interesting.
Oh god, I'm not gonna like this.
It's kind of like cotton candy with like. Alright.
I feel like I want to throw up now.
Yeah. I'm gonna go purge my entire system.
I honestly feel like I'm gonna barf. There was literally a rooster over there saying, "Hey, wake up."
Since we were chasing light the day before, we couldn't stop in the town of Texola, one of the signature towns along Route 66. So Jason and I both thought it would be a grand idea to backtrack for the beautiful sunrise. Only to find out that the sunrise would be garbage.
I'm gonna stand right there while I take your photo.
You got it.
Texola is pretty abandoned. There's buildings like on every corner that just have kind of fallen to the wayside a little bit, which is both cool and sad to some capacity.
Making our way into town, or lack of a town, I finished up the color roll and switched to black and white. This town was pretty haunting. Just another victim of I-40. On the way back from Texolo, we stopped at 2 more abandoned gas stations. At this point, we had seen some dope shit. These gas stations were a bit lackluster. But to be fair, if we found these gas stations earlier in our trip, I think we would have had a field day. Now, if you know me, you know coffee's a thing. I'm a barista, like my sister before me. I don't do well with terrible coffee. My sister graciously sent me on her way with the Kalita and told me the secrets on how to make good coffee on the road. This was the first time I was actually able to make a decent cup of coffee.
My pouring technique is not particularly refined in this moment, but it will do.
It's all right. It's not magnificent. I have 6 more days to perfect it. If you're making your way through Texas, there's just things you need to see. One of those things is the Leaning Tower of Texas. Another is Slug Bug Ranch. There looked to be a motel that had just recently shut down. This is one of those rare finds on Route 66. I see a photo with my name on it, baby. Right over here. It's gonna be so good. These pictures of the ice machine are some of my favorites. The Mamiya 7 never let me down. There's coffee mugs in there still. But the most obvious stop is Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. Someone graciously gave me their used spray can, and I wrote what was in my heart. One of the best things we ended up doing on this road trip out west was to stick to the actual Route 66. Sure, it's longer, windier, and rougher, but with that comes the most amazing finds. And this time we stumbled upon an abandoned Shell gas station. So much of this building was intact. We couldn't believe our eyes. This was definitely a job for my Mamiya 7, and the M6 would follow, but with a bit of a twist. First, I decided to put Portra 160 in my Mamiya. Then I decided it was time to pull out my Retrochrome, an expired film for an expired location.
Liberates me from my winter hell. I've got candles and candy. I can be your daddy if you only let me creep into your prison cell. Hey baby, can you tell I'm not a criminal? Your choice is seminal. I want you to stay true to what's right for you. No matter who or know what will others say. Just find your way and try to stay true. cigarettes and brandy, which could come in handy if you just help me loosen up my hand grenades fuse. Baby, don't refuse my truth, but it's up to you not to choose. I want you to stay true to what's right for you, no matter who or know what will others say. Just find your way and try to stay true.
Jason!
I don't have really anything to say.
To stay true to what's right for you, no matter who or when or what will others say. Just find your way and try to stay true.
Next on the journey towards Tucumari, New Mexico, we hit up the Motel Cafe. This place was off the beaten path. No wonder it didn't survive. Honestly, nothing was around, but it was very fun to explore.
Some of these rooms are kind of creepy. Huh?
One thing that we noticed fast was that we stood out more than sushi in the Midwest. Everywhere we went, people were staying at a distance, circling in their cars. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of an uneasy feeling, especially when all you wanna do is get your photo taking groove on. We noticed that a van was circling the area. They parked by our car and zoomed off. We quickly retired from that location. On the way into Tucumari, we noticed a bunch of desolate places. Since we only had a few hours before sunset, we decided to mentally flag them and come back when the lighting was gonna be a little bit better. Once we reached Tucumari, we checked in, grabbed some pizza, and rested a little bit. We had been going ham for 3 days, so we kinda deserved it.
Pizza time. Hey Jason, do you think I can do my new Bad Flashes episodes from this closet?
First camera up for sunset was the Mamiya 7 for the Tucumari Inn, a pretty vibrant abandoned hotel. I didn't shoot much slide film on this trip, but when I did, I feel like I chose wisely. Then I decided to move to the M6 to finish up my retrochrome roll. To be honest, these might not be my best retrochrome images, but don't worry, I'll redeem myself.
What is that? Okay, I'm gonna go down that. I'm gonna go down there. I'm just gonna check it. I'm gonna check it out.
I thought I would be done shooting the M6, but the sunset was sizzling like fajitas. I just had to put some Portra in and take a few more photos, and I'm really glad I did.
Look at that sky. That sky is on fire.
After the sunset blew our minds, we went back to the hotel to rest up a bit more before some night photography.
What are we, day 3? 1, 2, 3, 15, 16 35 millimeter rolls. 20 rolls of 120.
Closing thoughts?
My closing thoughts, I'm excited for Cinestill, and I don't want to throw up in my mouth anymore.
Do-wop, da-ba-do-wop.
For night photography, I busted out my Pro Mist 3, the heaviest of them all. I did, however, buy a quarter Pro Mist right before our trip. Subtlety isn't usually my thing, but I thought I'd try it. If you notice in some of these shots, there are highlighted rings around the edges. I think this has to do with the step-up ring and the 82mm Pro Mist I was using. I guess I have to find another way in the future. But then I also did double them up and go for a 3 1/4 Pro Mist. You can't stop me, you can't. After an electric night of shooting neon signs, we came back to the hotel to relax. You would think, after 3 days of pure photography, we would talk about feelings or something. But no, we watched some more photography YouTube channels. You can't stop us. You won't stop us.
Question. Why do the lampshades have plastic on them? They all have plastic on them. It's kind of gross. I don't have a good feeling about this. I don't know where this coffee maker has been. Probably hasn't been cleaned in a while, that's for sure. Day 4, Tucumari. Kabow! I think it's day 4. I actually don't know. Time is a construct and no one really cares. Bye.
Tucumari was a great place. We only had one night there, but I'd love to stay longer. Of course, they're known for their amazing neon motel signs, but even then, this place had just enough life to keep it all going. We bookended our Tucumari adventures with more abandoned buildings right as we left the city. Even though the day started out overcast, I put some color film in. Call me crazy, but I really just wanted to spice up the morning. Or I just wanted to hate my life. Either or. Today's long haul would be to Albuquerque, New Mexico. We had a lot of ground to cover today. But let me tell you what, the road was way too kind to us because right off the bat, there were 3 stops in a row. We were barely even able to leave Tucumari. We were hitting the pavement running with TMax in our hand and a dream in our hearts.
Well, should we go up those stairs?
First up was a 2-story dumping ground of a hotel full of trash and forgotten things. It's like the locals came here to relax on one of the broken down sofas and then throw away their trash.
Black and white.
Up next was a cafe motel that was just another dumping ground.
There's like almost a full bottle of ketchup. And those apples really haven't gone bad yet. Oh, Lauren would like this room. It's a Christmas room. There's a pillow in there.
One whole side of this place was burnt to a crisp. Honestly, how does this place burn like that and keep the structure intact? The third stop on our way out of town was another Shell gas station. They don't seem to be doing well. I decided to keep shooting some color film in my Mamiya 7 here at this gas station.
Whew.
Right next to this Shell gas station, there was an old auto garage. This place was massive. I'm surprised there was enough light in here to actually capture anything.
That place back there, like right in the distance there, there's a lot of noises coming from inside, and yeah, I'm sure it's the wind, but at the same time, I don't want to get murdered today, so yeah, I'm just not gonna go in. Look, roads, no one's on this road, no one.
Today's overcast day took us to the town of Cuervo. It started to sprinkle a little bit, so naturally, I had to protect my little baby.
Hope I got that. Wanted to show that it's raining.
It's raining? It's Leica time with Ektar.
Is it going to rain tonight in Albuquerque?
It'll probably rain in the early evening in Albuquerque starting at 6 p.m.
We should have taken the overcast sprinkling sky to forecast something. On the way into Albuquerque, the heavens started to spit harder than camels in the desert. And I know, I've been to Morocco. Me, personally, I don't do well with driving in the rain. That's how I got these fake teeth.
Hold it, hold it. You landed it perfectly, just hold it.
This is how much film I have left for the next 4 days. Jason, do you think this is enough for me?
I can ask new Caleb if he thinks it'll last. I'm talking to him right now.
Jason likes new Caleb better than me.
Hey, when you're done taking that shit in there or whatever you're doing, new Caleb just posted. It's an abandoned building. Oh, it looks really good.
I shoot abandoned buildings.
Needless to say, after an exhausting drive and slinging through a billion rolls of film the past 3 days, we were really struggling to find the motivation to go out for night photography. Not to mention, it was still drizzling.
You look enthused about tonight.
Want to do some shots? Shots on film?
But what kind of photographer would we be if we didn't at least try? And we did. And I got one photo. And then we ordered healthy food from Arby's.
Do you guys have the meat mountain? How many meats come on the mountain?
Plus, we had more beer and YouTube to watch back at the Cozy Hotel.
So I gotta tell you guys, this new Caleb that keeps texting Jason, I feel like he's trying to replace me a little bit. Like, apparently this new Caleb is so much better than I am. I think this new Caleb just has to go.
The first order of business from leaving Albuquerque was coffee. There was no way for me to set up this pour-over station in the hotel, so I had to venture out and find me some coffee.
Another camera store, cause we have problems. Mainly I have problems.
While setting up this trip, we tried to space out our driving evenly in conjunction to the stops we knew we wanted to make. But this drive from Albuquerque to Flagstaff, Arizona would be the longest route with the fewest stops planned. Needless to say, your boys found some spots that we just needed to stop at. One stop on the way out west would be this little Budville trading post and Dixie bar. So far in this trip, a lot of my black and white shots have been my favorite, but here, I'm really glad I put Ektar in my M6. I think the colors complement the Dixie sign very well.
I love you, Leica. I love you, Leica, my own child. That was a good one, right? No. Damn it.
This was one of these days that if we just stuck to I-44, the lame-ass road that killed Route 66, you wouldn't see much. But not for us adventure-seeking addicts. Route 66 would be our guide that would lead us to some fun gems. Along the route, we found another little town with 2 abandoned, well-preserved, graffiti-less motels. One of these hotels, someone was definitely still using as a shelter. At this point, we really needed to make our way to Flagstaff. But you know what happens when you need to be somewhere. Some more cool pops out of nowhere and makes you stop. This time, in the form of 2 different signs. A movie theater sign and an old liquor sign. I love that old liquor sign so much. It had so much character. One of my favorite signs to take a photo of this trip. This whole getting to Flagstaff fast thing was not working. So far today, the M6 hasn't left my regular sized hands. While on the highway, chugging along, rocking towards Flagstaff, we saw it there in the distance, a huge sign. And I yelled, "Abandoned!" Which, to be fair, I was doing a lot, but we veered off the road to go take a look. This brought us to Fort Courage and the Pancake House. Apparently, this place was for sale. Any takers? This pancake house was calling for my Mamiya's name. Come take a photo of me, baby. So naturally, I had to listen. The only problem was that I still had Cinestill in my camera from last night's failed attempt at night photography. But what the pancake wants, the pancake gets. So I finished up the 800T in pure daylight. This place was pretty crazy. I would have loved to venture in the pancake house a little bit further, but I'm not gonna lie. It was super dark inside, and Jason wasn't there to hold my hand. So I decided to retreat. To break up our streak of shooting decaying structures, we stopped off at the Petrified Forest Natural Park in Arizona. We needed to get a little bit of exercise in our system other than walking around broken glass for 10 minutes at a time. Sunset was upon us, just in time for Two Guns, Arizona. And I would make a joke about how there were no guns in sight, but Jason made that one already, and I'm just frankly too late on the punchline. This is where I got a little too ambitious. There were so many rock buildings around, and the sun was dwindling. So, like the town suggests, you need 2 guns to shoot this bad dog at sunset. So I strapped on my M6 and my M7 and went to battle.
Dual wielding. The best power couple since Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. But I think people feel weird about that one now. I guess I can't really talk about them anymore. But I can talk about these. This light is so gorgeous. It's just so amazing. Someone said this was a zoo? Not sure if that's true or not, but it's cool. Do Ektar as well. I actually have no idea where Jason's at. That thing is just like being my favorite right now. I gotta go take one more picture and then I'm gonna go to the other side. That's cool. I don't know what that is. And it's not that graffitied, which is perfect. I love it. There's stairs there. Those are some jankety stairs. I probably shouldn't go up those. I really want to be really honest, but I shouldn't. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know what this is.
The dust settles and the fight is done. I don't know or care who has won. I just know I'm tired of you being tired of me.
We ended the sunset next to an abandoned pool. I have a soft spot in my heart for this place. It was featured on an episode of Abandoned for Vice. I absolutely loved that show, so I kind of felt cool in the moment, a little starstruck even.
I only want us going back to how we were before.
At the end of the day, the sunset won, and for nothing more than a pretty view of the Arizona landscape. These are the moments I live for.
Being tired of me.
Now in Flagstaff, Jason and I decided to go into town and eat some pizza. We eat pizza a lot, don't we? Flagstaff would be the only town during this entire trip we'd stay for more than just one night. A much needed break from 6 hours every day on the road. I guess Flagstaff made honest men out of us. No one night stays here.
I wonder what went wrong.
Okay, moment of truth, here we go.
Oh yeah, that one's much better. could dig on that. I guess that's how you make a good cup of joe in the morning with a coffee maker.
What is this moment?
A Kodak moment.
Today, we plan to hike in Sedona to see this mythical keyhole carved into the side of a mountain. Before we made our way south, for once, we wanted to stop by a photography store, Hidden Light. But let me just say, I didn't buy any film. I think I finally learned how to contain myself. While there, they graciously showed us their gallery and their darkroom. This is the first time that I have actually witnessed firsthand how to make prints in the darkroom. And I fell in love. It made me even more excited to start my process. And while there, we learned that real photographers only shoot black and white. And no, it's a hard lesson to learn. For this hike, I brought some Ilford Pan F. I wanted to shoot it here specifically. I thought it would be a nice change of pace from the Kodak color and black and white films I've been shooting this entire trip.
We're about halfway there.
Nice. Other than needing exercise real bad from being cooped up in a car for the last 5 days, we wanted to find this mythical keyhole carved into the side of a mountain. This place was supposed to be off the beaten path, so we followed a dry riverbed to get us there with only a downloaded Google Maps as our guide.
Oh, what is that? I found a Leica in the woods. Huh. Jason, I found a Leica in the woods.
That means you get to keep it.
That means I get to keep it. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, I guess I could use two. Oh, just dreaming of DQ. Dreaming of DQ.
As we got closer, we heard voices. For a hard to find place, there sure were a lot of people here. This rock was full of bright faces from all ages. Yeah, that's right. We could have used a cheat code to get up there.
Until I'm complete. I got my eyes on you, and you got no clue what I'm supposed to do. I can't help myself. Little by little, piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm
After baby crawling around this steep corner of rock, we made our way into the keyhole. Hard path or not, this view was breathtaking and well worth it.
No, you wouldn't take what's not yours. If you know who I am, when the night will fall.
After shooting those 2 Pan F rolls, I had to keep shooting. So I put some Ektachrome and Portra through the camera. I just couldn't leave this place without shooting some color film.
Piece by piece, I take back what's been stolen from me. Little by little, piece by piece, until I'm complete.
Yeah.
So good.
After getting some much needed DQ, we made our way back to Flagstaff and out for some night photography. And we finally got some barbecue in our systems. Baby, I've been missing you for so long.
We were in Sedona all day today, and the mountains were beautiful. It was just such a wonderful experience and hike. And Jason was just on the phone with new Caleb the entire time. And I could tell, there's a huge smile on his face. I think I have to just tell him. I have to tell him how I feel, and he'll accept me for who I am. Okay, here it goes.
No, what are you wearing?
I'm sitting right here!
Yo, what the dude?
You have been talking and spending way too much time with the new Caleb. How do you think that makes me feel? You're supposed to be here in the moment with me.
You're right, I need to be more present. I need to be more here and now. For us.
For us.
Okay, you got me. I love Promised. What can I say? Also, what's up with these lights in Flagstaff? Why are they so yellow?
Get the f away from my Mamiya.
You know what, man? It's a good frame. It's a really good frame.
You mean it?
I mean it. It's beautiful. It's probably a masterpiece.
Stop. Okay.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi.
Okay, bye. Yay! We'll see you again, Flag.
Even with one day of rest, we were feeling it. Tired and exhausted. We definitely should have built in a day of real rest. But my travel pour-over coffees were on point now. With only 2 days left, we had more to see, so we hopped back in that car and got to move on. We stopped through the town of Williams and found out that they lean real hard in that Route 66 kitsch thing.
It's a beautiful building. Lots of cool stuff in there I can see.
This was another one of those days where we just stuck to Route 66, stopping in towns when we saw something to photograph. Some of these locations only produced 1 or 2 shots. We didn't mind this stop and go nature, but we were fading, and fast. We decided to stop in Kingsman, Arizona to get a bite to eat. First, we walked around a bit to take some photos. This was when I was really starting to feel that road lag. I don't know how successful I was in actually capturing a photo I enjoyed. I needed more caffeine, for sure. And to top it all off, it was the worst barbecue that I have ever had. I'm not being harsh. One stop that I have always wanted to make was in Santa Claus. Yeah, Santa Claus. I don't know if you could call it a town. There wasn't really much around it, but it had abandoned buildings, and you know I like some abandoned buildings. So armed with the T2, we got out and went exploring.
Huh. Santa Claus. Creepy.
After picking up a few gifts from Santa Claus himself, our next stop would be in Needles for sunset. Needles is one of those towns that seems to barely hold on to life along Route 66. There is enough life around it just to keep it afloat. For some reason, I decided to shoot black and white for sunset. Looking back, I'm not convinced this was the best choice. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of some of these shots, or most of them for that matter. They're alright. Sometimes they just don't turn out, and I'm okay with that. For the last night on the road, we decided to treat ourselves to a nicer hotel. Just right up the road from Needles is what I like to call Discount Vegas. It's where the cheap Vegas hotels come to be a big fish in a small pond.
I knew you were gonna do that.
And after getting some much needed in and out, we went back for some hardcore gambling, betting all our cameras on black. Or we just went back to our room and got wasted and watched more photography YouTube. I'll let you choose our adventure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is our last day.
Yeah, it is.
Well, here it is, the last day of our trip. I had to hit CVS to substitute my coffee addiction for a newly acquired cherry Coke addiction. And while there, I bought a pack of Fuji Superior. I know, I have a problem, but I'm seeing someone for it.
I just got hit on by a 50-year-old. Yeah.
As the last leg of our journey, we hit the road back to good old California. The California desert landscape was oddly refreshing. The Joshua trees were welcoming us home. Today's stops would have to be far and few between. We needed to return our faithful steed to the barn, and we had a ways to go. We definitely put some miles on that beautiful mane. Are these horse metaphors working? Even though we had quite a few pins on a Route 66 map here in California, we decided to pick two. After all, we live semi-close to these locations, so we'll be back. Our first stop on that last day would be an abandoned grab-and-go style mart. This place had so many hidden gems. Here, I rocked all three of my cameras. When in doubt, just shoot everything you see. One might be good.
wonderful thing about the cameras that I brought on this trip is that they are light to carry and amazing to shoot. And every shot felt great. It doesn't matter in the long run if these shots aren't masterpieces.
I love this.
There's ice cream in here? Damn it.
Why are there always couches in abandoned places? Our next and last location on this trip would be none other than Roy's. The one and the only, the incredibly shot and well posted Roy's. And I was crazy enough to shoot it in black and white, and color too.
Hey, just want to let you know, you Caleb invited himself.
Oh,
I told him not to come. I thought it might create an awkward situation.
okay.
But I'm just letting you know he's gonna be there when we pull up.
I think yeah, no. Yeah, uh-huh.
You
Okay.
guys good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All's, yeah, uh-huh. All's, cool. Cool.
But before we could shoot, I had to settle something.
One moment, I'll handle this.
I'm actually quite proud of Caleb. He's handling this whole situation pretty well. Oh. Shit.
You ready to shoot?
I'm a rolling stone, bound to roam. Come the morning, or I'll be gone. Pouring rain, wanna hear that train. There she comes. Won't you get on? Won't you get on?
Leaving Roy's was bittersweet. We had a 3-hour journey back to our Los Angeles homes. Even though we've had plenty of journeys in the past, this one was accumulation of one long road. On one hand, we needed life to go back to normal. At the exact same time, I wanted it to go on forever. But just like Route 66, it has to end sometime. Throughout this week, I've been thinking a lot about photography, why I love it, what images mean, and overall, how I feel when I have a camera in my hand. It's easy to get hung up on taking the perfect photo, encapsulating the moment forever, waiting for the right color, light, and framing.
Starting in Kansas, ending at Roy's.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not a bad journey right there.
Looking back at these 66 rolls I took, and yeah, I took 66 rolls. I can safely say they're good, but they're not my favorite. And in the end, I don't know if I care. It's not about that. It's about the memories and the moments that exist because of those photos. It's the feeling that I get looking back and remembering what happened right before and right after that shutter clicks. It's looking over and knowing that you're not being judged for the DQ you just consumed. And ultimately, it's experiences. That's what photography is for me. And this was one of a kind. So Jason, I'm down and ready for the next one, obviously.
City lights will blind your eyes. Don't look twice, go on. Go on.
Oh yeah, and if we could just like not talk about the other Caleb, that would be great.